Massive tremors have been felt here in Delhi and in fact in several parts of the country. It seems there has been a very strong earthquake lasting well over 40-50 seconds, and there on your TV screens you can see pictures of our Delhi studio here where the windows rattled and everything shook for what appeared to be a really long time, a minute perhaps or longer. Those in fact are pictures of our television studio when the earthquake struck just a short while ago. Everything here seemed to be shaking. The windows here rattled for a very, very long time. That ended some time back. We are not sure at this point where this earthquake really originated, what the epicenter of this earthquake was. What we do know, of course, is that massive tremors have been felt right here in Delhi, in fact the entire national capital region, and in several other parts of India. We are getting reports from Bengal, from Bihar, from UP, Haryana. Definitely Delhi and a lot of its neighboring states have felt massive tremors just a short while ago. We're trying to get more details, trying to get some information about where this earthquake may have originated. All right, joining me on the phone line now is our science editor Pallav Bagla. Pallav, what information do you have about the epicenter of this earthquake and its magnitude?
Well, it's an earthquake of magnitude 7.4. But the epicenter is away from India. The epicenter, I am told, is in Nepal. The latitude for the epicenter is 28.31 north, and the longitude for the earthquake epicenter is 84.84. So it's a 7.4 magnitude earthquake with an epicenter in Nepal, which means it is a very big tremor which has hit Nepal. And the tremors have been felt all over North India. I was in Delhi where I strongly felt the tremors.
Right. Pallav, of course, we in the Delhi studio also felt it very, very strongly. It seemed to last a minute, if not longer. Can you just recap for our viewers who are just joining in whatever details you have about the epicenter and the magnitude?
Well, this is a large earthquake of 7.4 magnitude with an epicenter somewhere in Nepal. At the epicenter, the tremors would have been felt very heavily, but in Delhi, the tremors were felt strong. There was shaking in the buildings. The place where I am in East Delhi, the building was shaking. People came out on the streets, but it lasted for about over a minute. There were two large tremors, following which there were possibly other tremors, but it's a 7.4 magnitude earthquake which hit Nepal, which means it is in the Himalayan region. The Himalayan region is well known for earthquakes because that is where the Indian plate is going under the Eurasian plate. So it's a place where earthquakes do happen, and this is where this earthquake probably happened. The epicenter is somewhere in Nepal. I have with me what is only the latitude and longitude of the epicenter, which is 28.31 degrees north latitude and 84.84 degrees east longitude as the epicenter of the earthquake.
Right. Pallav, you're saying that the epicenter was in Nepal, but it really seemed to be so strong. Tremors were felt in large parts of India, including right here in the capital. Do we know what the situation is like at the moment? Are the tremors still being felt in any parts, or is it for now over?
See, an earthquake of this magnitude will always have aftershocks. Anything above 6 magnitude earthquake causes damage in the area where the epicenter is. So a 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Nepal would have caused damage there, but the tremors and the energy which is dissipated in an earthquake can travel very, very far, which is why even though Delhi is a few hundred kilometers away from Nepal, the tremors were felt as far away as Delhi.
Right. Pallav, if you could recap for our viewers the kind of safety measures that really need to be adopted in a situation like this. We often talk about the protocol that needs to be followed, but tend to forget in such situations.
Well, the protocol to be followed is different for different locations. If you're in a building and if you're in a low-rise building, then the protocol to be followed is that you run out and go into the open area. It is said that earthquakes don't kill, it is buildings which kill. So if buildings are not made earthquake-proof, earthquake-resistant, it is buildings which collapse and kill people. So the best way is to come out into the open area. But if you are in a high-rise building, which is where many places in Gurgaon, Noida, in Delhi are, then they say you go under a table, cover yourself, hold the table or the chair or whatever so that things which fall don't fall on you and injure you, or go into a corner. These are areas which are considered safe, and definitely don't take a lift, don't run downstairs if you're in a high-rise building. Those are some of the protocols which are said for when an earthquake strikes. It seems the big massive earthquake is over because it happened at 11:40 a.m. India time. It was a 7.4 magnitude earthquake with an epicenter in Nepal. So the worst seems to be over, but aftershocks could still come. So people have to be vigilant and aware that aftershocks do happen.
Right, you're saying when an earthquake is of such magnitude, Pallav, it is to be expected that there will be aftershocks, there will be more tremors. Now, we are getting reports that people in many parts, especially here in the National Capital Region, rush out of their homes, especially those living in skyscrapers who perhaps felt it the most, have rushed out of their homes. Would it be advisable for them to stay out a little while longer?
It's always safer to be in the open area when an earthquake of such a large magnitude, which is 7.4, hit in a landed area, especially in the Himalayan region where it has struck. So being cautious, though it can never be predicted how many aftershocks and at what magnitude the aftershocks will be, but it is always safer to be outside. And fortunately, this earthquake has happened during daytime. Earthquakes of this magnitude, when they happen in the night time, they cause a lot more loss of life, simply because people are indoors and they can't come out. This magnitude 7.4 earthquake happened with an epicenter in Nepal. So the tremors felt in Delhi, people did feel them, but obviously at the epicenter, the tremors must have been very strong.
You just mentioned, Pallav, that a 7.4 magnitude earthquake is pretty strong. Give us a sense, really, of what such a magnitude really means, going by some past cases.
Well, Delhi doesn't get hit by such large magnitude earthquakes. If one goes back and sees some of the very large earthquakes which have occurred, remember the earthquake which gave the very large tsunami in 2004, and the earthquake which occurred off Japan, which caused the Fukushima disaster. Those were mega earthquakes of magnitude 9 and above. The scale on which earthquake magnitudes are measured are logarithmic scales. So between a 7 and an 8 magnitude earthquake, there is a 1,000-fold difference in energy. So a 9 magnitude earthquake causes a huge amount of damage, like what we once saw during the tsunami which occurred in 2004. So a 7.4 magnitude earthquake happening under the mountainous area of Himalayan region would have caused damage there, but when the energy got transmitted all the way to North India in Delhi, the energy obviously gets dissipated. But it would have probably caused damage in the local region where it occurred.
Right. Pallav, now, of course, you've been mentioning that the epicenter of this earthquake was in Nepal. We're still waiting for more details to find out which part of that country. But, of course, it is a neighboring country, which is why such strong tremors have been felt in large parts of India. From north to south India, we're getting reports of people rushing out of their homes after they felt those strong tremors. But given that the epicenter is in Nepal, would it be safe to assume, Pallav, that there would hopefully not be much damage here in India?
I don't think that is a fair assumption to make, because right now I have only the latitude, longitude of the epicenter. I have not been able to place it on a map to see how far north in Nepal or south in Nepal the epicenter is. So it really depends on where the epicenter was and how the energy has been transmitted. The epicenter can be far, but the tremors can be felt very strongly. There are many times when one sees that an earthquake happens in the Baluchistan, Afghanistan region, and the tremors are felt all the way in Delhi. And strong tremors are felt. It depends on how the energy is transmitted through the earth and how it gets dissipated. So one can say with a reasonable amount of feeling that at the epicenter there should have been some damage, but in Delhi, as of now, in the location where I am, I don't see damage, and people have started getting back to their work as they were. At about 11:40 when the earthquake happened, people did rush out from their offices, from their houses, came onto the streets. But now, since the tremor has been now more than 20 minutes, people are getting back to their routine lives.
Right, Pallav, let me in fact share an update with you. The information that we have right now from the European Mediterranean Seismological Center is that the epicenter was 83 kilometers northwest of Kathmandu, and as you've been mentioning, on the Richter scale, it measured 7.4. What do you make of this?
Well, that means it's a little far from the Indian region. Kathmandu is a little north of the border from India and Nepal, but it being in the Himalayan region, I really fear what would have been the state of the earthquake and the tremors in Kathmandu. Kathmandu itself